Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about drawing with your colored pencils on a black surface. So I've got a little glass jar here that I'm going to be drawing, and I'm kind of drawing upside down and sideways because it's the best way for me to show you. So bear with me on this. So I started off a little bit, and I started with a quick contour, which is in your tutorial. And basically what I'm going for is, in this case, what I'm doing, and the reason that we're doing this, and it's a little bit different, is that we're sort of searching out the highlights. So a lot of times when people draw, they're sort of, their first sort of thing to do is look for shadows and draw areas that are dark. So we're doing something a little bit different with this project in that we're looking for the highlights. Of course, we also are looking at shadows, but when we have shadows, we can basically just leave the black of the page. So I'm using, obviously, white colored pencil on a dark surface. And so for this, that's what you want to do. You're going to get a black sheet of paper. You're going to find something with some, some glasses actually works really well because there's this translucency. And we talked a lot about direction of line, and you can see how the direction of line is really important. The direction I'm going in mimics the form. So I'm coming around like this. I don't want it to be only white, so I'm adding in other values. And it's also, useful to go around the form too, because, this is a rounded object. We want to give the sense that there's, the space around it like that. So I can switch colors just to make it a little bit more interesting. Of course, when you look at something that's glass, it's a little bit intimidating and there's a lot going on. But just look for the variation. This will really get you used to looking really closely at something and not generalizing. So everything that we've talked about so far, we're talking about looking really closely at our subject, actually really paying attention to what's actually happening. So in this case, I'm kind of playing around with some different colors, which just to keep things a little bit more interesting. They still look like highlights, even though they're different colors, and they're kind of subtle. So I've got grays that I've been working with, and I've got white and blue and some other basic colors. So after this part here, if you can see this, it kind of breaks again, like it goes from, this one section to this other section. So I'm drawing in that to show that change, like that. So if you see that, that helps me understand what's actually happening here. And I'm keeping my lines pretty loose. And I can kind of keep going over it and over it as I need to. I'm going to switch colors again and add in a little bit of a different thing. Now I'm going to press down a little bit because there's this nice highlight right there on the side of that I want to get. And of course I picked the desk that rocks back and forth, so hopefully this video won't be rocking too much when you're looking at it and moving back and forth. So these are the same kind of demos that I would do in a regular class. But the nice thing about this is that you guys can watch it, over and over and over again, just to get, the right idea. So we get something like that. I'll go back and kind of spruce up this area, which I started out with at the beginning when I was off camera, just to kind of see. And press down a little bit. It's good to keep your pencil sharp, so sharpening it every once in a while is a good practice to have. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. This should give you some ideas of what you're going to be doing with this one. And of course, it's a really good idea to keep sending me pictures, as you're working, because usually right at the beginning, a lot of times I can see something that, just a little adjustment can make a really big difference or a really big improvement. Sometimes just those little corrections are so important. So I'm looking for the areas that the reflections, where there's like these really strong highlights, And in those areas, I'm just like pressing down a lot. And that's what's going to make it look like glass, is having these really nice reflections. And if you use Prismacolors, which is the kind of material that you're going to want to use for this, they work really well. And they look really good. So it's coming along. So yeah, the more of this sort of like refracted, barely can say that word, light and these highlights, the more it'll look the way you want it to. And stop it there.